Well, good morning. It is 10 a.m. on Tuesday, May the 26th, 2020, and we are going to go ahead and get started with the Board of Commissioners meeting, and I will turn it over to Chairman Nesbitt.
Good morning, and thank you, Director Rutledge. On this beautiful Tuesday in the month of May, we are calling our meeting to order and asking all parties to take their rightful places and to mute their phones so that we don't have any unnecessary background noise and or interference. To start our meeting, we will start off with invocation by none other than our very own Chief of Staff, Chief Corey Hambrick. Chief Hambrick, at this time, if you would take your time and lead us in a word of invocation, please. Chief Hambrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Board of Commissioners. Let us pray.
Good morning.
Omniscient God, we know that your thoughts are not our thoughts, nor are your ways our ways. For the heavens are higher than the earth, so are your ways higher than our ways, and your thoughts than our thoughts. So we ask that you reveal to our leaders and all of us who are a part of this meeting today your thoughts throughout this meeting. Let our ways be aligned with your ways throughout this meeting. As always, we pray. Let this meeting be aligned with thee and a reflection of your heavenly activity. God of love, we trust you with all of our hearts, and we lean not to our own understanding. We acknowledge you in all of our ways and in all of our meetings so that you will direct our path, especially this day. Father, we do not rely on our own selves for effective results, for we are only human and often make mistakes. It is you who know all things. So, Father, have your divine way in this meeting, and we'll be careful to give you all the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Chief Hambrick. Thank you for the word of prayer this morning. As we prepare to move forward, I want to remind the commissioners, Commissioner Washington and Commissioner Williams, if you would just identify yourself as you prepare to make the motion or to second any of the motions that are being made as we move smoothly this morning, through our board meeting this morning. And I will start with item number 3, the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
So this is Commissioner Williams, and I move to approve the agenda.
Commissioner Washington, second.
It has been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
This is Commissioner Washington, moves to approve the minutes as presented.
Commissioner Williams, I second it.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. We have no unfinished business on number 5. At this time, we'll move right along, Commissioners, with the regular agenda, starting with item number 2020-210.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Director Jennifer Rutledge. The first item we have is with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources through Recreation and Maintenance. This is a grant for the Shady Grove Community Park. This is for acquisition and development in the amount of $58,000, and the time frame is now through December 31st, 2022.
So this is Commissioner Williams, and I move to approve the contract.
I second it, but I do have some questions.
We'll yield to the questions. Go right ahead, Commissioner Washington.
I just wanted to know if there's anyone who can explain the scope so that we can, tell the public this is exciting news. So I want to know. The question is, what all will be involved in this grant study, the study?
And so, Mr. Chairman, Director.
It says acquisition also, so if we can explain what we will be acquiring.
Right. Okay, so thank you, Commissioner Washington. Chairman Nesbitt, Director Sanders is also on the line and can explain more information.
Thank you, Director.
Sanders.
Director Sanders, go ahead.
Good morning. This is Director Steve Sanders. This grant we'll be using it to purchase 1.62 acre parcel that is owned by the church, and then make improvements to the property, which will be adding a guardrail, ADA compliant sidewalks, pavilion, restroom, and a few other things, and that's the entirety of the grant.
So is this there's already a little park across from Shady Grove? Is this in addition to that park, or that is that park, or?
This is the park. The county has had an agreement with the church for a number of years, and before we actually make any improvements to it, we would like to acquire it. So that is what this grant would allow us to negotiate and acquire the property from the church and then make the improvements to the property. It would become an official Rockdale County property.
Okay. And so my understanding when I read through the documents yesterday is that there is a match by the county, a match of match. There is. It's 50%. It's $58,000 match, and that match will be coming from SPLOST recreation funds, and that match has already been run through the SPLOST committee itself prior to the COVID. This has been in the planning stages for about a year or a little over. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Washington, did that clear up your concerns?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Director Rutledge and Director Sanders. It has been properly motioned, and we entertain the questions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Item number 211, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is with Burnett Lime Company Incorporated through the Water Resources Department. This is for the Cal Flow Lime Slurry at 0.059 cents per liquid pound, and this is for 12 months with the option to renew for 2 additional 12-month periods.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
This is Commissioner Washington. I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second it. Commissioner Williams?
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 212, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is with Neptune Technology Group Incorporated through the Water Resources Department. This is for the radio read metering network upgrade and network agreement. This is change order number 1 to contract 2019-141, and this is at no cost.
So this is Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Williams, I move to approve the contract.
Commissioner Washington, second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 213, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is with NCR Global through the Tax Commissioner's Office. This is the merchant agreement for payment processing for property tax and tag payment. This is at no cost for 3 years.
This is Commissioner Washington. I move to approve this contract as presented.
Commissioner Williams, I second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Yes, this is with Brookmore Properties through the Finance Department. This is part of the NSP for the NSP Program Coordinator in the amount of $52,000, and it's grant funded.
I move to approve the contract. Commissioner Williams.
Commissioner Washington seconds that motion.
It's been properly motioned. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Williams.
Well, I would just like to have a little more information about it because we've kind of bounced around with our coordinators, and I wondered if we could get a little more information on this particular company.
Yes, Director Miller is also on the line, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Director Miller. Director Rosalind Miller. Okay.
Deputy Director Ficklin, you will need to be unmuted, please.
Mr. Chairman, this is Chief Hamrick. If we want to come back to this item, I don't know if we would need a vote at this particular time. I don't know if they've already voted for it, but we can bring back the explanation once we get it on.
We've not voted. I wanted to entertain Commissioner Williams's concerns. Let's check one more time, and if not, we'll come back to it. Director Miller, are you on the line? Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Rosalind Miller. Thank you. We've been contract. This is a renewal contract. Actually, Christy Phillips is our NSP coordinator, so we're not changing coordinators. We're just renewing her contract.
Okay,
So,
I guess I didn't realize she was, is Brookmore Properties, she works for them, or she is them, or
she is
something?
them.
Okay, all right. So I just didn't recognize that name.
Okay, yeah, it's still Christy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Commissioner Williams, for point of clarity, and Commissioner Washington, let's take item 214 from the top, please. What is your pleasure?
I move to approve the contract as presented.
This is Commissioner Washington. I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any additional questions on item 214? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. And Mr. Ficklin, you can keep Director Miller unmuted. Thank you for keeping her muted, but you can go ahead and keep her unmuted for the remainder and the duration of this call. Item 215, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is with OfficeWorks Software through ADP Workforce Now as a vendor through Talent Management Department. This is for org chart premium software, position control, and organization management in the amount of $4,355 annually.
Commissioner Washington moves to approve the contract as presented.
And Commissioner Williams, I second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 216, please.
Yes, this is a contract with Pittman Construction Company through the Transportation Department as part of the 2017 SPLOST number 3A roadway rehabilitation. And this is in the amount of $4,610,638.16, and it is for 28 weeks.
Well, Director Rutledge, did you say roadway rehabilitation or road rage?
Well, I guess it
both.
depends on the way we look at it, right?
It's both of them.
And in circulation, I'm hoping it's roadway.
When you fix the roadway, you cure the road rage. So it's both of them.
There you go, Commissioner. That is correct.
Okay. I guess that depends on who's driving on the road.
I know that's a mouthful to say. I don't want to say it 3 times fast. So.
Item number 216, Commissioners, what's your pleasure concerning the roadway rehabilitation project?
I move to approve the contract. This is Commissioner Williams.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 217, resolution.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a project that's been worked on through the Departments of Transportation and the Planning Department for the Harvest Mill subdivision, and it is comprised of two resolutions, so we'll take these together. The first one is a resolution of intent in compliance with the provisions of Official Code of Georgia Annotated, Title 32, Chapter 3, Article 1, Section 32-3-3B, and all related laws for the exchange of real property for public road purposes. The second resolution is a resolution to comply with the provisions of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, Title 32, Chapter 3, Article 1, Section 32-3-3, Paragraph B, and all related laws for the exchange of real property for public road purposes.
That is a mouthful. Commissioner, what's your pleasure?
Commissioner Washington moves to approve these resolutions as presented.
And I second Commissioner Williams.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 218, please.
I'm so sorry. Could you record me as an aye, Jennifer?
Yes, I'll take that down, Commissioner.
Thank you.
And Mr. Fickley, you don't have to mute Commissioner Washington. We can move forward. Item 218, please.
Yes, and Mr. Ficklin, on this next item, we will need Director Kurzik as well. She has a brief explanation. This is item 2020-218, and this is a resolution to adopt the Sigmund Road Gateway Plan. And this is the first reading this morning, and it will go into the process for planning review in the Planning Commission, and you'll see this again at the end of June in your zoning public hearing. So Director Kurzik just had a few comments to add about this plan this morning.
Okay, Director Kurzik, I think we'll entertain your comments before we take the motion.
Perfect. Good morning, commissioners and everyone in the
Good morning.
world. If you recall, we have been working on the Sigmund Road Corridor Plan. So this plan actually extends from south of I-20 along Sigmund Road, where it intersects 2 points. One is at Sigmund Road, and the other one is near Old Salem. So this Sigmund Road plan is quite lengthy and has a lot of recommendations in it. But if you recall, the initiative we took for this is because of the widening project that has been ongoing for several years, and the new portions have led. And what we've learned is that the corridor itself is just beginning to grow kind of in haphazard development standards. So we do have intersections where we have industrial uses right next to residential uses. So this corridor plan actually has tons of recommendations that come out of it. Not only does land use get looked at through this corridor, but we actually look at actual landscaping improvements so we can actually create a gateway and an entrance into Rockdale County. So essentially, we're creating that sense of place through this corridor. So when you arrive in Rockdale, you know where you are. It continues on to go through some lighting standard recommendations. It also talks about pedestrian connectivity. It also talks about signage, not just signage of, this is how you get off the interstate or that you're in Rockdale County, but pointing to our attractions. Millstead is in this area. We do have different subdivisions and different city and county parks that are along this corridor. So this is really to pull that whole plan together to make a cohesive development that's not only friendly to people who are passing through, but people who are shopping and potentially walking and just enjoying their time within Rockdale County. So if there's any specific questions, I can answer those for you. But this is the first step. So this will go through our full public hearing process. The plan itself is located on the county's website. It's actually through our department's website, so you can find that on the planning and development side. And we are taking it through this public process so we can collect any final comments. And then the final adoption, which should occur in July, will incorporate and solidify this plan. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for your work.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your work, Director Kurzek. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the report this morning. I think that makes it clearer for the citizens to know, what we're doing with that corridor.
Yes, good morning, Director Kurzek. This is Commissioner Washington. I cannot thank you enough. This has been something that I wanted for a very long time, and I'm so glad that with the support of the board, Commissioner Williams and the chairman, we're putting something in place that goes along with making Rockdale County a destination, an attraction, and making us visible when you come off of Sigmund Road, which is our first gateway. You'll know that you're here and you'll be comfortable, and it'll be someplace that you want to live, work, and play. So I completely and enthusiastically support this project, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone's support and hard work on that, because I know everyone has come out to all of our community meetings. So you have seen that the public is excited about this as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Director Kurzek, Commissioner Williams and Washington. What is your pleasure on item number 218, please?
Well, I think Commissioner Washington ought to make the first motion on this one.
Thank you. I move that we approve the first reading and refer this resolution to the Planning Commission.
And this is Commissioner Williams. I second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Good work. Item 219, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for 2 volunteer reappointments this morning to the Conyers-Rockdale Planning Commission. The first one is for Ronnie Burrell for a 3-year term, and the second one is for Steve Weinstein for a 4-year term.
I move to approve these appointments to the Conyers-Rockdale Planning Commission as presented.
Commissioner Williams, I second it.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an item for a special use permit for special use permit case 2020-01. This is an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended to authorize a special use permit for a recycling center located at 213, 214, and 215 Camden Industrial Parkway Northwest in Conyers, Georgia 30012. Is to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is before you this morning for a first reading.
And this is Commissioner Williams. I move to approve the first read and to refer the ordinance to the Planning Commission.
This is Commissioner Washington. I second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 221, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for the future land use map case number 2020-06. This is an ordinance to amend the Rockdale County Comprehensive Plan and future land use map as amended so as to redesignate property located at 2385 and 0 Gees Mill Road Northeast, and 0 Glen Road Northeast in Conyers, Georgia 30012. This is from the light industrial and medium density residential future land use category to the high density residential future land use category to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is before you this morning for a first reading.
This is Commissioner Washington. I move to approve the first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission.
Commissioner Williams, I second it.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 222.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is rezoning case number 2020-09, an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning property located at 2385 and 0 Gees Mill Road and 0 Glen Road Northeast, Conyers, Georgia 3003 from the R1 single family residential zoning district to the RM multifamily zoning district to impose conditions upon the amendment to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is before you this morning for a first reading.
I move to approve the first reading and to refer the ordinance to the Planning Commission. This is Commissioner Williams.
Commissioner Washington, second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 223, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an ordinance to amend Title II of the Unified Development Ordinance of Rockdale County, Georgia, as amended so as to change certain uses in Section 218-13 regarding K-12 and private schools to repeal conflicting laws and for other purposes, including proposals to amend related code provisions not contained within the Unified Development Ordinance of Rockdale County, Georgia. This is before you this morning for a first reading.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I move to approve the first reading and to refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission.
Commissioner Williams, I second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 224, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an ordinance to amend Title II of the Unified Development Ordinance of Rockdale County, Georgia, so as to amend Section 218 as it relates to the regulation of the placement of small wireless facilities in the public rights-of-way and to revise the definition section of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is before you this morning for a first reading.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Commissioner Williams, I move to approve the first read and to refer the ordinance to the Planning Commission.
Commissioner Washington, second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Thank you. This is a requisition for the Recreation and Maintenance Department for Graham County Land Company. This is for the grinding and removal of tree debris in the amount of $83,032.
I move to, this is Commissioner Washington. I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion. Commissioner Williams. So I do have a question on that. Is this for the recycling center or something else?
Director Sanders.
Yes, this is Director Sanders. This is for the recycling center. This is for the yard debris that is dropped off.
Have we started taking yard debris again?
We have not started taking that, and this is part of that process to get us ready to begin. We have 6 months of the debris that's on site. We need to get it ground and hauled off so that we can make our plans once the employees return to open service.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's been properly motioned and second. Are there Any additional questions on this one? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 226, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a requisition with Technology Services for Dell Marketing, and this is for the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement renewal in the amount of $398,957.14.
So Commissioner Williams, I move to approve the requisition as presented.
Commissioner Washington, second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 227, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a requisition for the Water Resources Department with Delta Municipal for radio read annual maintenance in the amount of $39,580.
Commissioner Washington moves to approve the requisition as presented.
And Williams, I second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 228, please, surplus.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This item is for surplus through the Water Resources Department.
I move to declare these items as surplus. This Commissioner Williams.
Commissioner Washington, second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 229, please, resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution to authorize the submission of an application to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources for funding pursuant to the Georgia DNR Recreational Trails Program for the Rockdale County South River Trail Launch and Takeout Project.
Thank you. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
This is Commissioner Washington. I move to approve the resolution as presented. However, if someone can explain that for everybody who's listening, what exactly where the resolution is for.
Yes, Director Sanders is also on the line.
Go ahead, Director.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. This grant is for $200,000. We have a local match of $50,000. That also will be coming from Recreation SPLOST funds, and it will create a water trail on the South River. So 6.5 miles will be the length, and it will start at the Lorraine Park trailhead, and it will end at a takeout that is on a piece of property that the South River Watershed Alliance owns. And part of this is an agreement with them for them to donate the property to the county so that we can finalize this project. They're a partner, and that's the plan for the grant at this time. The length of the grant is it will take about 2 years to finalize it, finish everything.
So 2 years to finalize getting the grant, or 2 years to finalize getting everything taken care of, all the work done?
The work done. So we have 2 years from the beginning of the grant to finalizing the completion of the project.
Okay. Well,
So
Jackie
Director
Eccles will be
Sanders,
certainly happy about this.
me too. Would you explain what amenities that will allow us to have once we get this completed?
It'll be so at the Lorraine Park trailhead, there'll be a put-in, which basically is a ramp that allows people to bring their kayaks down to the river. There'll be added trash cans and a few benches. And then at the end, at the takeout, which is about 6.5 miles down the river, there'll be also another area to take out your kayak and some amenities there, trash cans and things like that. All the details haven't been finalized, but that's the basic overview.
So is the takeout still in Rockdale County?
It is. It's on a piece of property on Oglesby Bridge Road.
Okay.
I'm excited. Is that am I supposed to be? Oh, yes. So once again, I move to approve this resolution as presented.
And Commissioner Williams, I second it.
Commissioner Washington, can you elaborate on what exactly makes you excited about this project?
I kayak. I've been kayaking, and I also, I float down the Chattahoochee River.
You do what?
I do the little river tubes down the Chattahoochee River for my birthday every year, and I've been kayaking. I have that. So one year, Jasmine and I were kayaking when we went on vacation, and we almost had a serious. We almost didn't make it back, but we did have a good time. So
it's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor of seeing Commissioner Washington kayak down the South River Trail? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
I'm gonna be the first one out there. Watch.
And I'm gonna be the first one out there to watch.
I'm gonna kayak though. I'm gonna have to borrow somebody's kayak, but yeah.
All right, Director Rutledge. We're now down to the updates here, and I think it would be appropriate to start with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple. So today we wrapped up our last board meeting for May, and I just want to talk about what June looks like. We will be having a board meeting in June. On June 23rd, we will be having the 9 a.m. zoning public hearing, and then we will follow that by a 10 a.m. BOC meeting. But that's the only two that we're going to have for the Board of Commissioners in June. And then we will publish the remaining of the calendar once we return back, which we anticipate to start our return to work to stagger back in around June 1st, and then we will begin to put together what our meetings will look like for the rest of the year. It's also more than likely probable, even though it hasn't been for sure published yet, but June 11th is when the Georgia General Assembly is supposed to be coming back. They've already been holding budget meetings and individual meetings such as that to start getting ready to come back to at least pass a budget. No one is committed to voting on any other bills, but they're taking them, just not being very clear about what they're going to do with them. And on the federal level right now, as most people are aware, the House has already introduced another coronavirus piece of legislation that has been sent over to the Senate. The Senate is in recess right now, and either they will take action on it, approve it, vote it down, introduce one of their own. But we'll just have to stay tuned into June to see what will happen with that one. And those are my updates this morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rutledge. Chief Hambrick, any updates from your area?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing that we have in our area is we've completed some meetings with some directors. I have a couple of more to actually conduct as relates to some of the items and how the impact as it relates to COVID-19 has had on several departments, and we should have that to your office by Wednesday of this week. Additionally, the Department of Technology Services, as well as Public Relations, in conjunction with Planning and Development, we have finalized the platform in which we're going to engage public meetings here throughout in terms of enhancing some of our technological resources that we have, and that should be before you all in terms of an update by the end of this week. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hambrick. I'm going to go to Director Holmes, and then after Director Holmes, I'm going to Chief Morgan, Following Chief Morgan, I'm going to Director Diaz. So at this time, Director Holmes with an update.
Yes, good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning. Director Rutledge did reference the beginning of our phased-in approach. So, yes, effective on Monday, June 1st, 2020, Rockdale County will start its phased-in approach to our return to work plan. This is specifically designed to support Rockdale County employees as they begin to physically report back to the office on Monday, June 1st. The initiation phase is our return to work program, and it ends our remote work program as well. This phase is going to go all the way through July 6th. So again, it's going to be a phased-in approach. As our employees return to their physical locations, we also, in addition to providing them with PPE, we're also going to be doing enhanced disinfecting protocols, as well as installing large hand sanitizing stations in lobbies of county facilities that support the public. So, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we have been working diligently on this plan. We look forward to our employees coming back to work in this phased-in approach, and that completes my updates, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Director Holmes, and I want to add that Rockdale County still currently has a hiring freeze in place, and I want to also commend Director Holmes for leading our transitional return back to work task force. They've been working literally around the clock to make this happen for all of our county employees. I was super excited when Ms. Lee brought it to my attention that we had over 10,000 surgical face masks as we're receiving in our PPE to distribute to our employees as they return back to the workplace. Perfect segue. Chief Dan Morgan.
Yes, sir, and that is a perfect segue. As a follow-up to that, we are receiving PPE from multiple sources to be ready for that transition. As an update on the COVID, since March, Rockdale has had through today, Rockdale has had 266 cases with 9 deaths. Testing, if you wish to have testing, you have to have an appointment. It's free testing. This week, Tuesday today through this Friday, it is available at the Conyers First Baptist Church, and that's at 2100 Highway 138 North, right there at the Boar-Tusk red light. It's a drive-through. To make an appointment to get your testing, call a number to talk to them to actually set it up, 770-513-5631. That is the GNR. That's Gwinnett Newton Rockdale Health Department. The operators will set you a date and time. If you can go this week, like I say, it's in Conyers at the Conyers First Baptist Church. That phone number is available from 8 to 7, 8 in the morning till 7 p.m. on Monday through Friday, and Saturday from 9 to 4. The actual testing on that location takes place from 8:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. Starting next Monday, it will be back in Newton County at the Newton County Career Center, which is behind Newton High School on Brown Bridge Road. That, unless somebody has questions, that concludes my report.
Does anyone have any questions, commissioners, for Chief Dan Morgan?
No, I would just encourage people to get tested, though.
Well, I have no questions, but I concur.
Thank you, Chief Morgan. And I want to take this opportunity once again, commissioners, to commend Chief Dan Morgan. He serves in 2 roles, 2 capacities, as our Emergency Management Director as well as the Executive Fire Chief of Fire and Rescue. And I have to commend Chief Morgan as our Emergency Management Director from the start of this entire pandemic. Around the clock, the chief has been working, he and his staff, from the emergency management side of this whole ordeal. They've done an excellent job and really put a brand new meaning and a whole different kind of brand on emergency management, particularly here in Rockdale County. And I also want to take this opportunity as we get ready to hear from Director Diaz, once again to commend the citizens and the residents of Rockdale County for adhering to all of what we put out there. As you all remember, we put our shelter in place in order out before the state did, and I think that because we were quite proactive and not reactive, we were able to get ahead of the curve. Chief Morgan, one more time, I want to ask that you give us the current numbers only for Rockdale County this morning, please.
Yes, sir. Since March, Rockdale has had 266 cases of COVID and 9 deaths related to COVID.
Thank you so much. Director Diaz.
Good morning, everyone. As you probably
saw,
last week, we made public the return to work plan, and there were several articles placed in the local media. We also made sure to share that with our email list, which includes our clergy, our homeowners association, and also our Rockdale community ambassadors, and Keep Conyers Rockdale Beautiful. And the purpose of that is we wanted to exhaust every opportunity to make sure the public is aware that the return to work plan will go into effect the beginning of June. However, we are still working on transitioning and getting everything ready for the public admittance. The second thing I wanted to update on is that Director Sanders and I believe Ms. Cintron over in Finance have secured some funding and some support for tennis courts, so we will be sending an update by the end of the day to them make that public, to let everyone know how and when they can use the tennis courts. Last few updates are on the 27th, tomorrow, Wednesday at 3 p.m., we will be holding a conference call with clergy members and folks in the area in Rockdale County that will be led by our federal census representatives regarding the importance of the census. So anyone who's listening on this call, if you haven't done the census, please do. Rockdale County is hovering just about or just below the state average, which is okay or pretty good considering the circumstances. But again, we wanted to push that. And last two items I wanted to share was last week we had the pleasure of being out there with Rockdale County Fire Rescue as they inaugurated their new engine. And we have produced a video that will be made public today to let the folks know the new piece of equipment and tools that are not only there for the fire department, but for the residents. And lastly, as Chief Hambrick mentioned, today public relations is on site over at the Assembly Hall. We are assisting and helping and supporting technology services and ensuring that a public comment component will be available when we resume with our BOC meetings and our planning commission meetings. But other than that, Mr. Chairman, that is all the updates for public relations.
Thank you, Director Diaz. And Commissioners, I want to point out
Mr. Chairman, I'm
yes,
sorry.
Sir.
There's one thing I did want to mention, and I know it got lost with the way everything has been going as far as everything happening, but I did want to recognize and give thanks to Sean Kimball and the Public Relations Department, and also Mr. Tommy Clack for still finding a way and being creative and producing a top-notch program for Memorial Day that was viewed not only in Rockdale County, but across the state. So thank you so much to everyone that helped us make that a reality. Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman.
Not a problem. In fact, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was getting ready to commend Mr. Sean Kimball and all of the PR staff that was responsible for putting that together. It was the first time ever, like you said. I won't be redundant to repeat it, but we certainly do appreciate it. I watched yesterday. It was a well-organized presentation, and Sean Kimball is to be commended for his work. In addition to that, we certainly do appreciate what he's doing with the daily COVID-19 update. Commissioners, I might add that our Public Relations Department, under the leadership of Director Diaz, is one of our most enthusiastic and excited departments about our return to work plan and policy. They are just chipping at the bit to make their way back into the campus. And I thought,
Mr. Chairman, you literally took the words out of my mouth.
I thought you were thinking that way. I thought I'd go ahead and, since you stole a little bit of my thunder, I thought I'd steal a little bit of your thunder. I still had the image of Commissioner Washington jumping in that South River, and I had to kind of remove that. I don't know, for whatever reason, I've been stuck on that since she said that, but I'm going to try to get off of that. Director Sanders, any update from your area at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just what
Are you
Director
stuck
Diaz...
on that image also?
Yes. She'll be the first one on the invitation list for the opening. As Director Diaz mentioned, on June 8th, and you'll see a press release coming out later today, we are going to open up the tennis courts for use. The tennis center, the indoor facility will not be open, but the courts will be, and people will be able to reserve their times, and we'll have restrooms available.
Very good. All right. Anything else you have for us?
That is all for today. Thank you.
Director Miller, anything coming out of the CFO's office? Director Ficklin, you still have her muted again? Director Miller.
She's muted.
Director Ficklin, Director Miller actually serves as our Chief Financial Officer. If you can unmute her, it would benefit the entire board. Director Miller?
Yes. Good morning.
Okay. Any comments from the CFO's office this morning?
Well, we're still looking at revenue. As you all know, that the SPLA, the host funds are day-to-day operations for cash flow. So we received March's remits, and of course there were, it was only 3% lower, a 3% decrease from last year of March. So we anticipate our April remit, we're going to actually see the impact of COVID. So we're waiting to receive the remits for April, which should be this week. But we continue to watch our revenue and our cash flow.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else out of your office, ma'am? Thank you, Director Miller. Director Rutledge, are there any final comments from you?
No, Mr. Chairman, I have nothing else this morning.
All right. I'll go straight to Commissioner Washington for board comments. Commissioner, are you there?
I am here. First, I spent this weekend doing a lot of things with our graduates around the county. This corona situation has been it's made graduation a whole lot different, not even a little bit different. And so I would like to commend and congratulate all of the 2020 graduates, from our high school graduates to our technical college graduates to college graduates, MBAs, everybody who graduated. Congratulations, and you know, you all have probably the most memorable graduation stories ever. So good luck in the future, but know that it's just part of your journey and part of the story that you get to tell your children and your grandchildren on how your graduation year. Speaking of corona, I would like to encourage people to stay safe. Please wear your mask. Your mask show that you respect other people, because you are doing whatever it takes to contain anything that would be emitted from your person. So please continue to wear masks. Stay home as much as possible, but I know that it's hard. It's hard for me to stay home, so I know it's hard for everybody else, but do what you can to shelter in place as much as possible, but please be respectful when you are out. Wash your hands, still use the precautions that we were told. If you feel sick at all, please stay home so that you won't spread the virus. And my last comment right now, until Commissioner Williams says something that will jar my memory, is that early voting has started. We are asking that you all get out to vote. This year, you have the absolute privilege of being mailed a absentee ballot without even asking for the application for an absentee ballot. So vote. Early voting started at Parker Road, 1400 Parker Road. So come on out, vote early. And if you don't come out, use the absentee ballot process and just get out and vote. And that's all I have for right now.
Okay, for right now. All right, going on, Commissioner Williams.
Okay, I've got several things this morning. First off, I wanted to recognize Memorial Day yesterday. I think as I watched some of the different ceremonies and things that went on, I was, it made me proud that my husband is a veteran, that my father's a veteran, that my brother is a veteran, and I just appreciate the work that and effort that our service people do to keep us safe and to keep us free from distractions from others around the world. It's a big issue, a big appreciation for that. My husband and I did take some time yesterday to walk the trail near Pine Log Park, and there was hardly anybody there. So I was happy to see that there were a few people out, but nobody near us. And so that was enjoyable to get out and do that. About COVID, I think it's important that people get tested. I have a friend who posted yesterday that she was feeling a little tired, not in real major issues, and she was shocked to find out that she tested positive. So, I think if, they talk about the asymptomatic people and those with very mild cases of the virus, I think that's why it's important for everybody to get tested. Now, I have a report from our Stepping Up initiative, our program director and our consultant. They have put together quite a few impressive things, and I wanted to share some of those with you this morning, specifically related to how things have been affected. And I've mentioned this before, but I've got some numbers this morning. Twice a day, they hold meetings for those in the accountability courts. And that was going on before, Monday through Friday. Before COVID, before the county shut down mid-March, from January, February, and mid-March, there were 558 encounters or people who participated. That's not different people, but that's how many participants were involved. Since mid-March, and so we're now just past mid-May, we have had 1,187 participants. So we've nearly doubled with our Zoom meetings. So as they talk about going back to, back to work, back to the offices, they are working on a hybrid type of program where some may be in person, but some will still be on Zoom. People seem to find that very accessible. I'm looking for, I don't know why I can't find this quickly, but I had someplace, and I'll find them in a minute, the numbers of those from the different accountability courts who have participated. Oh, I know where it is. And what I found interesting about that was that they have alumni that have been participating in these. You know, once you are in recovery, you're always in recovery. And it's not like it's something that goes away. They had 457 participants from drug court, 402 from the DUI court, 243 from resource court. They had 8 from family court, which would be through the juvenile court system. They had 72 alumni, and then there were 5 different guests who participated. So that alumni number is impressive to me because, like I said, once you're in recovery, you're always in recovery, and it's good to keep track of where you are. Another thing that's been really impressive is the certified peer support staff has, before we had just 2 over the accountability courts, now we have two additional that are participating as peer support staff. And so that means we've doubled our staffing without doubling. These are just people who are there in other capacities already. So we haven't hired anybody new, but we have people participating in effective ways. The Stepping Up staff has been participating in all the town hall reentry workshops sponsored by the Policy Research Institute, which is the grant that was awarded to Rockdale for technical support services. They've held 3 meetings with the jail staff, planning ways to serve our the mental health issues of inmates during incarceration. And they are working to get all of the accountability court participants tested for the COVID-19 virus. So all in all, we have seen a lot of success, a lot of work that has gone on just since we formally started in mid-January. And so that's the report on that, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Washington.
Well, of course, I forgot to give my acknowledgments for Memorial Day. You know, I come from a family of service to this country, dating all the way back to my great-grandmother's brother who served in World War I. My grandfather served in World War II. My child's father, my father is a Vietnam veteran. My child's father it was a veteran. My brother is a veteran. And now we have a new serviceman. We have my nephew who is in the Air Force. So I may not have served, but I come from the long list of family members who truly loves the one who serves. And any holiday that recognizes our veterans and the people who have laid their lives on the line for this country is something that I take very seriously. So I am proud to honor Memorial Day, and I'm so sorry I didn't write it down to speak on it, but I do honor the veterans and the family members of those who lost people during their service, and that is it.
Did I hear you say your baby daddy?
Yes, I said my child's father.
Okay.
He served in the United States Army.
I just okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. All right. All right, Director Rutledge. I'm trying to bring this call to a close. Is there any need for executive session after this call?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. I want to thank all of, first of all, I want to say thank you to the Board of Commissioners and all of our citizens who has joined us this morning on this call. Thank you to all the men and women, the employees of Rockdale County, who's done a fantastic job as we've navigated through this COVID-19 coronavirus. Thank you for tuning in with us this morning. Please don't forget to visit all of our social media platforms, including our Rockdale County website. And we thank you so much. Please continue to be safe. And I echo the sentiments of Commissioner Washington in terms of wearing your face mask and practicing social distancing as you continue to moving about the community, and particularly here in Rockdale County. Thank you so much, and that concludes our board meeting for Tuesday, May the 26th. This meeting is adjourned.